Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for June 8th. June 8th is the 159th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 160th in leap years, with 206 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is Xanthippe, Xanthippe, or Xanthippe. Xanthippe. This is a noun that means a nagging, ill-tempered woman. And it's named after Xanthippe, the wife of Socrates. Yesterday we had Socratic method, today we've got Xanthippe. She's been portrayed as a nagging, quarrelsome woman. Earliest documented use of the term Xanthippe in this context is 1691. Additional information, Socrates is said to have advised, by all means marry. If you get a good wife, you'll be happy. If you get a bad one, you'll become a philosopher. There was some additional commentary along those lines. My source posed a question wondering if being married to a philosopher would turn a woman into a shrew. And I wouldn't think so. I mean, I'm acquainted with a few Xanthippes who can't have had a nodding acquaintance with any philosophers, and they're just as awful as can be. So I'm sure that's not what it is. Xanthippe.
And with that, we're going to start in the year 632. One of my viewers pointed out to me that on June 8th, in the year 632, the Prophet Muhammad, founder of Islam, died at the age of 61 or 62. They kept birth records a little differently back then than we do now, but he was 61 or 62 at the time of his passing. On June 8th, 1783,
a volcano in Iceland called Laki, L-A-K-I, Laki, began an 8-month eruption. Holy cow. In addition to lava, which destroyed about 20 villages right out of the box, Laki emitted poisonous gases that killed animals and crops. This then, of course, led to a fairly immediate famine. In addition, the volcanic cloud cover didn't just stay over Iceland. It was an extended eruption, and the cloud cover went over a great deal of the planet and caused a drop in global temperatures that resulted in crop failures in Europe, drought in North Africa, and even as far away as India. It's estimated that 20 to 25% of Iceland's population died, some from the famine and some from the poisonous volcanic gases. And that was June 8th, 1783. On June 8th, 1789, James Madison introduced 12 proposed amendments to the United States Constitution in Congress. Articles 3 through 12 were ratified as additions to the Constitution 2.5 years later on December 15, 1791, becoming Amendments 1 through 10 of the Constitution.
You can pause the video for a moment and read through these if you'd like.
On June 8, 1794, Robespierre inaugurated the French Revolution's new state religion, the cult of the Supreme Being, with large organized festivals all across France.
Andrew Jackson, 7th President of the United States, died on June 8, 1845. He was 78.
This is the birthday of American agricultural scientist Franklin Hiram King, born June 8, 1848. He studied soil science, but what he's most known for is designing the cylindrical silo, which reduced spoilage in the silage. Some feel that Frank Lloyd Wright, who also has a birthday today, was influenced by this cylindrical design, as evidenced in his design of the Guggenheim Museum in New York. Mr. King lived to the age of 63. Tennessee seceded from the Union on June 8, 1861. This is the birthday of American architect Frank Lloyd Wright, born June 8, 1867. He would often tell his students, study nature, love nature, stay close to nature, it will never fail you. His aim was to design buildings that complemented or even seemed part of nature. He lived to the age of 91. On June 8, 1906, Theodore Roosevelt signed the Antiquities Act into law, authorizing the president to restrict the use of certain parcels of public land with historical or conservation value. Carl Laemmle incorporated Universal Pictures on June 8, 1912. This is the birthday of English biologist, biophysicist, and neuroscientist Francis Crick, born June 8, 1916. He and James Watson figured out the structure of deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, the chemical substance that carries our genes. Remarkable work, to say the least. They won a Nobel Prize for this discovery, and Mr. Crick lived to the age of 88. This is the birthday of American artist LeRoy Nieman, born June 8, 1921. He's known for his brilliantly colored expressionist paintings and screen prints of athletes, musicians at sporting events. He lived to the age of 91, painting pretty much right up to the end as far as I can tell. He died 12 days after his 91st birthday in 2012. This is the birthday of former First Lady Barbara Bush, born June 8, 1925. She was, of course, married to George H.W. Bush and was the 41st First Lady of the United States. She passed away in 2018 at the age of 92. This is the birthday of American actor, comedian, and producer Jerry Stiller, born June 8, 1927. He lived to the age of 92. Apparently a good day for comedian birthdays. This is the birthday of comedian, actress, writer, producer, and television host Joan Rivers, born June 8, 1933. She lived to the age of 81. This is the birthday of actor, singer, and director James Darren, born June 8, 1936. He wanted to be an actor, and he also got a bonus career as a singer. He played Moondoggie in the movie Gidget, guest starred in many popular TV shows along the way. This is the birthday of Nancy Sinatra. She's the daughter of Frank Sinatra and followed in his footsteps, getting into the family business of music. Her signature hit was "These Boots Are Made for Walking." She's had a good many more since then as well. Well, happy birthday, Nancy Sinatra. Occasionally I've heard her voice on the Sinatra channel on Sirius XM, so that's pretty cool. This is the birthday of singer, songwriter, and guitarist Boz Scaggs, born June 8, 1944. He's worked in the genre of blue-eyed soul, rock, blues rock, soft rock, jazz rock. And I didn't realize this before I did today's research that Boz Scaggs started out in music with the Steve Miller Band. Later on, he was involved with the band Toto. On June 8, 1949, George Orwell's 1984 was published. If you haven't read that book yet, you need to. I read it when I was in high school, and at the time I thought, oh, how awful. I'm glad that could never happen. Well, silly me. It's not exactly as depicted in the book, but a lot of that stuff is happening, and most of it has taken longer than 1984, so that's good, but 1984. This is the birthday of Tim Berners-Lee, the English engineer and computer scientist best known as the inventor of the World Wide Web. Born June 8, 1955. Happy birthday, Tim. And thank you for the interwebs. And we'll wrap it up with the birthday of American rapper, singer, songwriter, record producer, fashion designer, and entrepreneur, Kanye West, born June 8, 1977. I'm sure he's going to have a lovely birthday party, Kanye. And that's going to do it for us today. Hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. I always do. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with others, a link in your email, messaging, or social media. Send it all the way around. Images are retrieved from Bing Images, either public domain or licensed free to use and share.
I think the correct terminology is free to share and use. Our lovely outro music is Divine Life Society by Jesse Gallagher from YouTube Music Library, and there's a link to his channel in the show notes. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Okay, do that again. We'll do that in a minute. Thank you. That might not make it into the video. We'll see. Changing it up.